On March 30th of 2023, we released the Digital Vids episode Unbelievably Charming, which was a CJ Studios and Sly Stars partnership film. The story was written by me, Cesar Rosas Jr., along with Kalou Lor and Andrew Perry. And because Andrew Perry is co-owner of Sly Stars, it turned into a Sly Stars partnership. The film was about a high school football player named Rege. He was about to get kicked off of the football team due to his bad grades. Giving suggestions to pick his grades back up just in time before coach finds out, Caleb suggests that Reg manipulates his crush Casey to doing the homework for him, considering that she's supposed to be the smart girl. Coincidentally, Casey likes Reg back, so she took the offer. And the way her friend Tilly sees it, she sees that Reg is manipulating Casey. But really, it was Caleb manipulating Reg to manipulating Casey. Manipulative power taking advantage of charm power. That was the whole concept of the film. However, that was not how it was originally intended to be. Unbelievably Charming was based off a high school drama improv project, but originally, Reg was intended to be the bad guy alongside with Caleb. See, in the final film, Reg actually had regrets manipulating Casey, because at the same time, he actually wanted to give Casey his number. But in the original story, that was not Reg's idea. Before we casted Andrew Perry and Jada Tenio in the film, we actually did write out the script and it was very different. I mean, most of the storyline was the same, but the main difference was that Reg was actually the bad guy. And originally, he wasn't going to give Casey his number in the end of the film. And as for the part of Tilly secretly recording the boys, the original idea was that Caleb was actually going to delete the footage, and then come to find out, Tilly would have had the footage saved in the cloud. She would then show Casey, which Casey would then burst into tears, and decided to plot revenge, and then Reg would actually give Casey his finals assignment, in which Casey would make him fail. In result, Reg would be kicked off the team. That was the original ending of the story. In fact, we had a different cast lineup. And I will say, casting was difficult. Kalou Lor, who was one of the writers of the film, she was actually going to play Casey originally. She would later suggest that we would give the role to somebody else. This is when I would cast Kayla in the film, which I felt was a pretty good choice because Kayla has actually proven to be a good actress, despite no acting experience. So Kayla was the perfect role for Casey. Now, the role for Caleb was actually going to be assigned to a high school student who was actually not a member of CJ Studios, but he almost became a member. His name is Anthony Reyes. He wanted to land a part of the film, so I thought maybe I'd give him a chance. Originally, I was going to have him play Reg in the film, but he requested that he would actually play the sidekick, Caleb. As for the role of Tilly, another non-member, Alero Ogbe, was originally going to play the character. I don't really know if that's how you pronounce her last name, but that's my guess. But casting Reg was the hardest part. We were trying to find the perfect person to play Reg, but we did cast a couple people, and I don't really remember their names because it was a long time ago, but they would later turn down the role, which I unfortunately had to resort to me playing Reg. And I didn't want to play Reg. Honestly, I did not even want to play a character in the film because I didn't really think I was fit for the role, and I figured somebody else would probably do it better than me. And when we filmed that day, I will be honest, it was kind of a disaster. In my full honest opinion, I think Anthony Reyes was not taking the film too seriously. Alero, on the other hand, she did a pretty decent job playing Tilly. Anthony and Alero have been recasted from the film, and it wasn't necessarily my choice, but it was because they both walked out on the project. I knew filming was a disaster, so I decided to temporarily cancel the project. And the first thing I did was look for somebody to play Reg. The first person I asked was Andrew Perry, because Andrew actually did a pretty good job playing Bully on the Man of Kindness film, so I thought maybe I can land him another role. He agreed to it, so I showed him the script, but funny story, he didn't really like the concept. So he asked me and Kalou if he can become a writer of the film and do a couple touch-ups. And see, Andrew is actually a really good story writer, so we agreed to let him join as a writer. Andrew did not like the concept of Reg's character, as he felt that the idea was actually used multiple times throughout various other films out there, and suggested that maybe Reg could be the character who was also being manipulated. So during that month of delay, Kalou, Andrew, and I would meet up and rewrite the story, and it turned into a masterpiece. We all loved it. So then, it was time to film. I reached out to the group chat, but come to my surprise, 2 actors of the film actually walked off on us and didn't even tell us. The actors who walked out of the film was Anthony Reyes and Olero Ogbe. They complained that we were taking too long with filming the video, as we took a month off to remaster the script. I informed them that it was going to be a while, but they didn't really seem to care. And to make matters worse, they pretty much ripped us off. They were begging to be prepaid, and I kept saying no, but they wouldn't stop bugging me about it. So unfortunately, they just took the money and ran off. Lesson learned that you should never prepay your crew unless they actually did some work. Which this pretty much proves that Anthony and Olero are not acting material. Honestly, I was planning on recasting Anthony anyways because I felt like he wasn't taking the role too seriously. He didn't seem fit to play Caleb. So this put the film on a bigger delay, and Andrew and I were actually trying to find new recruits. So we had our whole cast set. Andrew as Reg, Alvin as Caleb, Kayla as Casey, and Jada as Tilly. And the film did spectacular. People loved it. And the film wouldn't have turned out that good if it wasn't for the help of Andrew Perry and Kalou Lor, who are both amazing writers. And Andrew is actually an advanced drama student, so Andrew is a spot-on actor. Now, like I said before, the story was meant to be different. Aside from the storyline itself, the casting was different. And luckily, I still have the footage from the original version of the film that never got finished. But again, I would like to thank Andrew Perry for stepping in and helping me and Kalou remaster the story. And I'd also like to thank him for helping us recast Anthony and Olero after they walked off on us.